Today, inshallah, we're going to continue our talking about the development of sociology. We have mentioned in the previous lesson the factors that led to the development of sociology. In fact, we have a lot of factors, especially the economic ones. The nature of life itself changed because of the sum of the achievements that happened as a result out of the scientific revolutions. They started to build larger factories, and of course the main site for production already changed from rural societies, especially in towns, to cities. Someone is waiting, let me admit him. Okay, so they changed the main site for production, and the result, obviously, that the people started to move from towns to cities, of course, looking for better lives, better jobs. So the nature of life itself changed. But unfortunately, because of the movement of the population at the same time, the number of the available jobs outpaced the available jobs. So the result was unemployment. And also the housing shortage developed a little bit, and the crime ratio increased because of the unemployment. And people started to think about their individual liberty, about some kind of their human rights. So they started to seek some rights, and the result was some revolutions, like the American and the French one. Of course, all of these major incidents happened, led some people, some scientists, to think, to start their thinking, what's really going on? Who's controlling these factors? How the society we are living in is working? Of course, obviously, is not working haphazardly. It must have some laws, some principles. We want to figure out these principles. And of course, because of the achievements of the scientific revolution, and they simply neglected, or they figured out that they were using the wrong way of thinking, the religious explanation, or even to the ancient scholars' writing. So they started to think, why not, after the success we have achieved in the scientific field and in the real life, why not? Let's try to apply the principles of the physical sciences on the social ones. Let's try to apply them on the society we are living in order to figure out the principles, in order to figure out the factors, how this society is working. This was only an introduction as a reminder, what we had already discussed earlier. Do you have any question regarding this issue? Any questions, guys? Please do not let me talk to myself.
No, Mr. No.
No.
No question.
So I can ask?
اتفضل يا مستر.
Okay, just wait. The first sociologist who simply thought about creating this new branch of the social sciences was Auguste Comte. Oh, sorry, I didn't open mine. By the way, if you wanna open your camera, be my guest. I have no problem. And you are still didn't update your profile pictures. Here I have Ziad, and I have two Ziads, by the way. They didn't upload their pictures, Ahmad Magdi and also Yusuf Walid. So please try to update them, guys. The first European to start to think about establishing this new branch was Auguste Comte. Because of this guy, guys, we are studying sociology nowadays. He was the first one to think about establishing this new branch, and he gave it the name sociology from the word society. So we can say that he coined the term sociology. And please, if you are not using your mic, mute it because of the surrounding noise. Okay, guys? So he used the factors, he used the principles of the physical sciences, of course, as outcomes from the scientific revolution. He used the same principles, observation, the usage of reason. He used the same principles and he tried to apply it on the society. So the result, of course, and his main interest from his name, Auguste Comte. What's his nationality? What's his home country? Who can tell me here? Abdurrahman Muhammad, Rashwan, my friend Rashwan. Auguste Comte. What do you think his home country can be? Rashwan.
ايوه يا مستر مع حضرتك.
Auguste Comte. Try to guess his nationality.
French.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Rashwan. So Auguste Comte was interested with the factors that led to the French Revolution. What about the society? What happened in the society before the revolution and after it? So his main interest was social order and social change. What do I mean by social order? Use your mind a little bit. From the term social order, what is it? Try to figure it out. Any suggestions? Abdurrahman Osama?
It's like the structure of government who makes laws, these things.
So I can simply rephrase your words, Ya Abdurrahman, that by the usage of the principles of the government, by establishing a firm law in the society, we can have some kind of order. Okay, who else? Ziad Mustafa. Social order, what is it?
Social classes, different social classes.
Different social classes. Okay, on the contrary, we have social change. So, but if I will talk about social change, this is gonna mean that I do not have any classification system talking about the social change. Who else? What's the social order? No suggestions? I think you are Karim.
Yes, social order may be a society which is ordered according to the jobs of the people.
Can you rephrase your words, please?
Social order may be a society which is ordered, not haphazard.
To have some kind of order in the society, right?
Yes.
Abdurrahman, do you want to add something? Or you have raised your hand by mistake? I think by mistake. Okay, guys, social order is to have some kind of stability, to have order in our society, to have stability in the society we are living in. Like the most of the countries nowadays, like the one we are living in. On the contrary, social change, you can think like to have disorder in the society, like, for example, certain places in Syria nowadays, or in Libya, if we go to the west. And try to contrast the country we are living in or your home country with, for example, certain places or specific places in Syria where they have some kind of disturbance, some kind of disorder over there, and in Libya over there they have a lot of social changes. Yani if we look at Libya nowadays, and if we have the chance to compare it with the same country, with Libya, 5 years ago, of course, there is a huge difference between the two situations. So this is social change, to have some kind of disturbance in the society. On the contrary, social order is stability. Yani talking about the French Revolution, the main interest of Auguste Comte, the social order. What was the name of the French king, the last French king? Who can remind me? We discussed this issue last year, يا أولاد.
King Charles.
Charles, King Charles is the son of
Mr. What's the question?
Queen Elizabeth, right?
Louis the 16th.
Louis
Yes.
the 16th. Thank you very much, Muhammad. Louis the 16th. He was the last French king before the French Revolution. And of course, he used to have a lavish way of living. After the revolution, he went to jail. They even killed him by using the guillotine. So, of course, the society was not the same. And here I'm talking about France before the revolution and after it. So, social order and social change. Until now, guys, the main interest of all of the sociologists all over the world is social order and social change. And Auguste Comte was the first one to mention something about these two conditions. From his point of view, from his own perspective, he said that there are some specific factors in the society that can lead to social order. These factors, he called it social statics. And on the other hand, of course, there are some factors that can lead to social change. And these factors, he gave it the name social dynamics. So remember, guys, when I ask you, what's the social statics? You will tell me there are certain factors that can lead to social order. And on the contrary, social dynamics, they are the factors that can lead to social change. Do you have any questions until now? Social dynamics and social statics? Be my guest. If you want to ask me, simply raise your hand because I will ask at the end of this session. So now it's your time. Now it's your chance to ask me if you wish. Abdurrahman?
Mr. Can't social change mean like in a peaceful way? Doesn't mean disorder or chaos?
Yes, of course, no problem, in a peaceful way. But the main interest here changes in the society, regardless of the way, regardless of the factors that led to this condition. I do not mean, by the way, to have some kind of disturbance or to have some kind of disorder by revolutions. My example here was a revolution because this was the main reason that led Auguste Comte to think about this new science, to start thinking about society because of the French Revolution. Okay? But there is no need to have some kind of revolution in order to have social change. Of course, Tayyip, let me give you another example in order not to link it to the revolution. Of course, here in the Saudi society, for example, the country we are living in, they had some kind of social changes, okay? Like the females started to drive, like they started to have some kind of concerts, musical festivals, and so on. Of course, a couple of years ago, there was nothing like that in Saudi Arabia. But nowadays, we are in the process. We are having some kind of social changes here in the society. Got the idea? So Abdurrahman here have mentioned an important point. There is no need to have some kind of revolutions, for example, in order to have a social change. Is it clear? Hopefully, it's clear.
Clear, yes.
Okay, so it's my time to ask. No more questions? Ziad?
Mr. When we say social statics, factors دول لازم يفضلوا those factors must remain constant. Without those factors, social change could happen.
No. Regardless of the meaning of this word. Yeah, and of course, statics means stability while dynamics means movement. Okay? Regardless of the definition, guys, it's only a title, it's only a term, it's only a definition. He used this term. So statics does not mean that they will not change. Of course, يعني مثلا these factors can move a little bit, can be changed a little bit, but not on a large scale in order to lead to a social change. يعني in order to memorize them, try to link statics, stability, with order, dynamics, movement, to change. Okay, get my point of view here? If I ask Abdurrahman Yasser, Abdurrahman, let me hear your voice. If you wish, you can open your camera. Abdurrahman Yasser, what's social statics? Okay, I want to see your face, not your hair. Abdurrahman, and by the way, I was talking to Abdurrahman. Okay, okay, no problem. Keep on your camera on, and your question will be yours. This will be your gift for today. Where are you? Abdurrahman Ahmad. Yes, Abdurrahman.
الو سامعني مستر؟
Yes, hello.
Yes, okay, hello, مرحبا.
Okay,
you can
Abdurrahman.
ask me.
What's social statics? What is social statics? Keep on thinking, Abdurrahman. Ali Nasser. Ali.
Social statics, factors
Yes.
leading to social orders.
Thank you very much. Abdurrahman, you're still thinking? Abdurrahman Ahmad, are you still thinking? Try to think about the social dynamics. Keep on thinking. Okay. Now it's time for Shafiq. Can we hear your sound, Shafiq? If you wish, you can open your camera. If you wish. Shafiq. Mahmoud Muhammad.
Yes.
Okay, Mahmoud. After getting
Mister.
a new idea. Yes.
حضرتك سامعني؟
Yes, of course. All of us can hear you.
تمام.
Shafiq, your question will be, like the most of the inventors, after getting a new idea, after inventing something new or concluded something, what's the reaction of the society, the surrounding people around you? What's the reaction? Have I made myself clear or not yet?
Yes, but I
Try
guess
to guess.
there is no يعني a certain answer for this question. It depends on the on the community or the society and the
Okay, let me clarify an
thing
item.
found.
Try to think, Shafi, about the scientist of the scientific revolution. After getting a new idea, for example, they used to think that the earth is flat. After concluding the fact that the earth is not flat, they used to congratulate them for this achievement. They used to reward them, for example.
Do you think that
In,
the
in,
Earth is a flat, not on a ball?
Abdurrahman, Nobel Prize? Nowadays, but this question was for Shafiq.
I guess in that case, they didn't accept it because it refuted what they believed. But we can't say that this will happen in every case.
Nowadays, of course, because people are got used to it. But earlier, and back to that point, we are talking about the 1800s. Okay, Shafiq. Ziad Mustafa.
يعني I answered ولا لا؟
Do you wish to continue?
My answer.
Yes.
I said it depends on the situation. Sometimes مثلا if it refutes the
It's
religious
a logical
beliefs.
answer. It's a
Sometimes.
logical answer. Yes, I didn't say that your answer is wrong, Shafiq.
تمام. Okay.
Ziad Mustafa,
Yes.
what do you think?
I
After
assume
getting a new idea. Yes.
he was shunned and they didn't accept the idea. Again, as you said, it was the 1800s. They didn't accept ideas easily.
Thank you. In fact, guys, after
Mister,
getting this, yes. Yes, Rashwan.
Mister, yesterday you said also they depended on the religion and the يعني the things said of the early people يعني.
Yes, Rashwan. Yesterday, let's go back. Yesterday, I had mentioned something about the scientific revolution. When they want to answer any question regarding the physical life, they had to use two sources, only two main sources for knowledge: the church or the religious way, and the ancient scholars' writings. These were the two main sources for knowledge. Of course, nowadays we have a lot, but back to that time, they used to have only two sources. After the discovery of the new land, after the discovery of the Americas, they had already concluded that there was nothing mentioned in their two sources about this new founded land. So they figured out and they concluded maybe we are using the wrong way of knowledge. And they started to depend on reason, and they invented the scientific way of thinking. And of course, they have achieved they have already got major achievements and major successes at that field. A lot of inventions came out of this major scientific revolution. So after this success, they started to think, this guy, why we are not using the same concept, the same way of thinking on society itself, on the society we are living in. This society must have some rules, must have some principles, how it's work, how it works. You were the first one to think about this idea. So after getting this new idea, like Viad had said, of course, they attacked them. Not physically attacked them. They simply started to say, what are you talking about? What is this sociology? What is this new term that you have already invented? Who bothered himself to start to think about the society you are living in? Why are you bothering yourself to think about such ideas? So he was disappointed. Okay, after all of the writings, after all of the people who started to simply disappoint him. So he used cerebral hygiene. Cerebral hygiene, guys, from the word cerebral. Cerebral is related to, who's
Brain.
gonna help me? To the brain.
Brain.
Okay, okay. So try to figure out the meaning. Cerebral hygiene. What's the hygiene of the brain or of the mind? I can wash my mind, for example. What is it?
Better way of thinking.
Maybe it means pure thinking.
Pure thinking. Okay, how I'm gonna pure my mind? How I'm gonna clear my mind?
تأمل.
Maybe.
He could
You can
explain
clear
it
your
more.
mind by a coffee.
One by one, Marwan.
He could explain more to the people so they could understand him better, so they can accept his idea.
Okay, Marwan, but from your point of view,
No.
he will simply focus on his new branch, on his new science, or his attention will be to the people in order to make them
But
understand his principles.
how he will apply it if the people does not accept it as an idea, bro.
By the way, let me tell you something. During his life, he didn't figure out the factors. By the factors, I mean the social dynamics and the social statics. He came out with this idea, okay? But he didn't say what are these factors. It was only an introduction, okay? He didn't figure out the factors. So, guys, cerebral hygiene, in order to pure his mind and in order to clear his mind, he simply neglected every single one around him. He neglected all the writings talking about this issue, or even attacking him, attacking his views. He neglected all of these writings in order to pure his mind and keep his focus and keep his attention on this major cerebral hygiene, to neglect all of the writings, all of the other writings, except himself, of course. Do you think cerebral hygiene is a good way of thinking? And this was his point of view. Cerebral hygiene. I want to pure my mind so no one can simply influence my way of thinking. Abdurrahman Osama?
I think it's not a good way, because first of all you have to learn to adapt to criticism, because criticism sometimes is good, may identify faults within your thinking. If you didn't listen to anyone, then there is no room for improvement, because you will you won't change your views if they are wrong.
This is the reasonable way of thinking. I have here Marwan Hadi. Do you want to add something?
I agree to Abdurrahman. It's okay. Listen, and if you don't like the opinion خلاص ما كمل عادي بس.
But maybe for weak personalities, if you are at the beginning of the road to establish something new, and every single one around you will discourage you, you will simply be disappointed, and maybe at a certain point of time, you will abandon your idea. You will simply leave it. So it depends on the person himself. So he used this way of thinking, cerebral hygiene, in order to neglect all of the writings attacking him and attacking his views. And he kept his mind focused on the new branch, on the new science. Of course, sorry. Of course, some of you have said that it's a bad way of thinking. All of his views, all of his writings later on were refuted. And refuted means to prove it's wrong. So later on, when they started to go deeper in sociology, they concluded that all of his writings were wrong at that time. But until now, the main interest of the sociologists are social order and social change. So his achievement, Auguste Comte, that he coined the term sociology. He established this new science, this new branch, sociology. And he was the first one who tries to apply the principles of the physical sciences on the society. Auguste Comte. Any questions regarding this early European scholar? By the way, according to our culture, guys, Who invented sociology? Who was the first Arabian philosopher talking about this issue?
ابن خلدون.
Thank you. But of course, you are not gonna tell me this answer in the exam, okay? Who invented sociology? Who coined the term sociology? Auguste Comte, okay? Let's go on. Harriet Martineau. Harriet Martineau, the first female sociologist. She was born to an English family. Her dream was to become a writer. Unfortunately, she couldn't fulfill her dream over there in England, so she traveled to the States. Over there, she worked as an observer, tried to have a look at this new society to her, tried to pursue the dream of democracy that they said over there about the new land. So she made, sociologists later on considered her something like a social worker, not like a sociologist. So she started to write down everything she observed in the American society. Okay? And she talked about special items in this society, like marriage, like race, like the practice of certain religions over there. All of these items. And by the way, let me tell you something. She wrote all of these couple of years earlier than Comte's. But she didn't establish the principles, and she didn't introduce this new science. This was not in her mind. She works only as an observer over there in the States. So the sociologists consider her a social worker, not a sociologist. But she was the first female talking about this new science. Okay, guys? Is it clear? Any questions for now? Auguste Comte, Harriet Martineau. Okay. If I ask Muhammad Ashraf, who coined the term sociology, Muhammad? He was the first one to use the word sociology. Muhammad Ashraf. Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Mr.
Who invented the word sociology? He was the first one to use it.
Auguste Comte.
Auguste Comte, thank you very much. The first female sociologist. Abdurrahman Ahmed.
Hello, hello.
There is no need to say hello, okay? The first female.
Hi.
The first female, Abdurrahman.